Welcome to NFL Road and NFL Starts and Ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And welcome to the Wordplay Podcast. We know Lucas isn't here. As we said before, Lucas will be here the week of the Super Bowl. That is all find out. So just expect Lucas in a couple weeks. Before we talk about what guys were named head coaches this week and everything, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the divisional round weekend, specifically the games that we have. We're going to start with Sunday's game first, and then we'll roll back. We have a lot to say about the two Texans game, and I don't think it's fair for the other teams that we may miss them. So let's start off with the Rams-Eagles game. We said here, we said everywhere, we want this game close, just be close. Because the last time these two teams played, the Eagles won by a landslide. Poor weather, also the inclusion of a Jalen Hurts injury to his knee, and still the offense outside of Saquon Barkley looked suspect at times, especially with Hurts throwing the football. There was definite Eagles ran the ball well with Saquon. Jalen Hurts had a nice touchdown really early. Saquon had 205 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 big touchdowns, I should say. And then the Rams started to fight back with the bad weather and all. They just did a really nice job. But just at the end, their offensive line couldn't hold up. They had a bad play on Johnson when they're moving down the field against a very tired Eagles defense. You take a bad sack on third down. On fourth down, you need to get sacked again. Your quarterback is going to receive it and hope something happens. Ball's too far out of bounds for you to win. They had also a lot of fumbles in this game. Balls slipped. Stafford said, when I've played in these games, it's kind of a different situation every time. It's kind of like the football is sometimes like a greased pig in big and play. You just can't slide out of your fingers. You just can't grab it. That's what's going on. Fumbles by Stafford, fumbles by Kyren Williams. There's a lot of bad things. This definitely showed me that this Eagles defense is for real. Like, Vic Fangio's doing an excellent job doing everything he can possibly do with the people that he has at the top level. It's very impressive. Stafford said after the game he would mull his future, but he still thinks there's a lot of football left to be played. And I do think he'll stay in LA. It's not a question of that. I think it's a question of, do I want to be beat up by this offensive line every year for the rest of my career? I don't know if you want that. Let's move on to the Ravens-Bills game. That final score, by the way, for the Eagles, Rams was 28-22, so it was close because of the inclement weather. Also, with the Ravens and Bills game, Bills winning the game 27-25. Let's start with the Bills. Great ground game. Scored 3 touchdowns in the first half. Josh Allen ran the ball very well. Very decisive in his throws. They really did do a good job. The only negative I have for this Bills team, where was the offense defense? Where was it? I don't know where it was because it was so bad. They were not moving the ball as efficiently. They were not moving the ball as a collective unit. It was very problematic things were going on from this team. Defensively, I thought they played great. They lost Taylor Rapp. He's actually out for the Chiefs game. That's a loss. They're going to have to put in I think he's a rookie Bishop. He's going to be in there. That's Mahomes is trying to target him a lot. That's it. What good teams do. Find the scrub, as they used to say. Now, not so much. Find the scrub, the guy who's not as good, and attack him. That's what you do. But yeah, they got pressure on Jackson. They forced turnovers, the interception, the fumble. Then they ended up forcing a couple more turnovers, punching the ball out from Mark Andrews was one of them. And that's just, you can't have that happen. Now let's get to the Ravens. Let's talk about this more in depth. Where was Lamar throwing the ball in? Did the ball slide out of his hand? Because it missed the guy by about 5 yards. It wasn't even a clean throw. It was just bad. I don't know what he was trying to do. A fumble is a high snap. He brings it down. He then tries to do his Houdini thing, and the ball slides out of his hands, and Von Miller recovers it and brings it back 40 yards. Like, that's what they did. It was not that it was so shocking. It was just, you saw it with your own eyes. It shows that this Ravens team is kind of in a position that they've been used to for the last 6, 7 years with Lamar Jackson, where they can win games in the regular season. It's postseason that gives them so much issue. Is that Lamar's fault? No, not entirely. That defense didn't do much in the first half. But what were they doing? They didn't help. And that offense was not helping Lamar much either. I mean, Lamar was missing slow. But Derrick Henry only ran the ball 16 times. What was he doing? He brought in Derrick Henry. I was talking to people about this. Just that the thing that you can say a lot about Lamar, they only ran the ball to Derrick Henry 16 times. Like, you brought Derrick Henry in, so for these moments, and you didn't give him the ball. And it was just like, what are they doing? I'll go into it more in depth in a little second. So you get those turnovers by Mark Andrews, the drop. They had a couple drops, used from Mark Andrews as well, but none as big as that last drop on the 2-point decision. Let's create this scenario, okay? Fourth quarter, Ravens score a touchdown. Derrick Henry punches it in. Give us that some points. 2-point conversion. They're going for it. They're trying to tie the game. Honestly, they'll be ahead. And it's a next concept. The guy's open. He's open. And it's not a bad throw by Lamar. It's just Matt Milano makes a big play the way Matt Milano can make a big play. What he gets in there, gets the ball deflect, incomplete. Ravens are still down 1. Now, on that play, the reason I was upset about it was because Lamar is back there. Derrick Henry is back. They motioned Derrick Henry out to the flat. This is Derrick Henry. He's not really a threat if he doesn't run the ball. He's not a pass catcher, really. It's not his skill set. And he's out there. For what reason? I don't understand it. You also have Lamar Jackson. Why wouldn't you run it? Very important. The second difference of it, the Ravens need a drop. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game with 1:30 left. They are able to accomplish. They scored a touchdown, 2-point conversion. Here we go. And you do the same thing. Motion Derrick Henry out. Lamar drops back. He ends up rolling out to his right. Mark Andrews is basically the only guy on a route because the other two are going to block. And it's a soft toss to Mark Andrews in which he drops. This is what it is. You've had 2 situations, 2 2-point conversions. When the Ravens decide to throw the ball, both times, it's incomplete both times, and they lose the game by 2. If we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about Lamar's greatness. This is what it predicates on. It has to predicate on. You've got to be big in the biggest moment that you have. You have Derrick Henry back there. Run. Give it to him and let him go. Let him push the. You have a great offensive line. Let him push 2 yards. Let Lamar Jackson run. Let him push 2 yards. Why did they decide the best course of action was to throw the ball on both times? Because they were open. I mean, I guess they were. They were open. But it's problematic. You brought in Derrick Henry for this purpose. For in December, in January, and potentially in February, you would hand him the ball and you didn't. This is not, we don't have a ground game. This is, we don't want to have a ground in the biggest moment. We want Lamar to throw it. This is like Jimmy Garoppolo with the 49ers a few years ago. Jimmy Garoppolo was in the NFC Championship game. He threw 9 passes. He won the game big time. He didn't have to throw the ball. Everyone made fun of he only threw the ball 9 times. We said it. We threw the ball and that's Super Bowl. They didn't. They wanted to throw it 30. Not Jimmy Garoppolo's ability. Let him throw the ball 15 times, 20 times. That's just not 30 times, 40 times. And they lost because they tried to do that. Brock Purdy, same thing. Why are we asking him to throw the ball 40 times? Let him throw the ball 20 times. He got a good ground game. He got the pass. Hand him the ball. Why didn't he? Because they want to make the quarterback look good. Not the running back. In the biggest moment. No one's going to say a big thing. You won the Super Bowl. You're the quarterback. Like, you obviously get respect. That's what they did. Same thing here. But this isn't just a quarterback that can throw. This is a quarterback that can run. So why you chose to not run it with Lamar Jackson or with Derrick Henry makes no sense to me at all. It just doesn't. And at that point, they have to go for the onside kick. They don't get it. To watch when a team does that and they lose plays on. I do appreciate that the Ravens did hold and keep say yes, but Murphy's like I wouldn't be here without Murphy. I wouldn't still be coaching without Murphy. That's what I was saying. You look at these teams, you look at this talent. The Ravens need to be better. Need to be stronger, need to be faster, need to be more. That's what they do. If we don't do enough, what it is. And that's the frustrating thing to do. They do that all. This is fun. That's what I'm saying. The Ravens are too good to make those mistakes. And that's back on coaching. That's a coaching. That's simple. And that's on Lamar too. Nuh-uh. We've been in these situations before. We got Derrick Henry. We got the king in the backfield. You got me. Let's go. That's what has to happen for them too. And I was just finishing the text message. Okay. Moving on to the Commanders Lions game. Well, we said it was going to be a shootout. That it was a shootout. Just interestingly, what team was going to do more of the shooting. And that ended up being the Commanders. They did a great job. 42 points scored in the second quarter by both teams. It was the highest scoring first quarter, or highest scoring quarter in a playoff history. The Lions offense is built to score fast. But they're not built to give their defense a break. The Commanders are kind of the same way, but they're more built to do the second thing than the Lions are. And the Lions, the thing that makes it worse for the Lions is they're so talented. They got so banged up on the defensive side. Aaron Glenn did an absolute unbelievable job. Like, they had 11 or 13 defensive players on IR of 15 or 18 players on IR, and nearly all of that is either a starter or big rotational piece that you have playing. Now you're having a guy who has had one snap on defense the whole year is playing in the biggest game of his life. That is not a position you want to be in. It just didn't work. It's unfortunate because I did think the Lions would have done it. I did think the Lions had a chance to go all the way. But that's what happened. And on offensively, they tried to make Jared Goff look like he was one of the greatest quarterbacks. But you have a great ground game with your kid, David Montgomery. You must run the ball. And they didn't do it. And the community couldn't stop it, but they stopped. The Lions stopped doing it, which is ignorant. And then they want to do all these trick plays. A lot of them work. As the old saying goes, Tiger's not going to change his stripes. He's a tiger. That's what he is. The Lions, it means then, were the Tigers. They're not going to change their stripes. They're just not going to. They're going to play aggressive. They're going to play with excitement. They're going to do trick plays. Where I don't think a receiver passing Jameson Williams is really going to do much of anything. But that's what cost in the game, essentially. It's good that we all said that we all liked it. All like, oh, look at the flash. Cost. What it is. Great job by the Commander defense. Great job by Commander offense. Great job by Jaden Daniels as a whole. He made everything accurately. They ran the ball well. Terry McLaurin had a big day. Everything went well. That's what you want. And there's two types of teams. Everyone's going to say the same thing. We're going to talk about the Bears in a little bit, but there's two types of teams. If you have a young player, you either have an offensive coach with a young player, or you have the former an offensive coordinator that's really good and a defensive head coach who's able to keep the vibe tremendous all the time, completely low key, and he and his defense does the job too. You can get those two things, and that's what the Commanders. They have a smart offensive coordinator. They have a smart offensive coordinator. They have a smart head coach that is able to, the offensive coordinator is able to keep Jaden Daniels in check and get him the things he wants to do. The head coach can keep the defense, make sure they're playing the right way, and keep everything else even keeled so vibes are good. That's simple. But very difficult at the same time. Move into what also is very difficult, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs defense. They've been playing unbelievable. They ended up beating the Houston Texans 23-14. This game was very frustrating if you were a Texans. Let's start with the Chiefs. Great defensive performance. I thought they played really well. The run defense I'm a little concerned about. I'm also concerned about Chris Jones and how is that calf going to hold up throughout the playoffs, because they were off for 24 days. And Chris Jones, I believe, was off for 28 days. And that calf grabbed him again. He was able to continue to play, but a couple of times they had to go and try to relax that muscle a little bit more. And that's not good. It's Chris Jones. In back-to-back weeks, we'll see what happens. Well, offensively, they looked better. I will say the Chiefs they did look better. Better in the red zone, better in the course of the field. They just still inconsistency. Still the inconsistency of their offense. It drives me crazy. You can't just see Mahomes. You can't just see the ground. And the team that goes against the Bills, they know how to stop that better than anybody. That's you're gonna have to figure out a way to win the game by an offense that doesn't just consist of Patrick Mahomes making unbelievable throws. And doesn't just consist of Travis Kelce turning back to his 2013 self in the play. Can't have all needs to come from somebody. I'm gonna skip to the Texans a little bit. A lot of things happen. Let's start with this. The Houston Texans were very similar to the Lions, destroyed by injuries in a certain spot. Wide receiver, you lose groups into this because Nico Collins gets injured early in the season. He has a hamstring. But you're okay. You have Tank Dell and you have Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs goes down to his ratio. But it's okay. You got Tank Dell and he goes back. Then Tank Dell goes too long. Now it's just Nico. It's just all they have to cover. Because they didn't really use all that much. That's unfortunate. But it is a problem with how you're built to roster. You need to have a better roster plan. The ground game was good. I thought the ground game was excellent by the Texans. Defense, I thought Will Anderson played very well. I thought Hunter played very well. But you've got to bring Mahomes to the ground. You've got to bring him to the ground. That's what you have to do. I also want to say that they were two of the most terrible penalties I have seen. Will Anderson and Mike Pereira said that they were penalties to the letter of the law. I agree. I agree that they were penalties to the letter of the law. Don't disagree with that. Perfectly agree. Perfectly fine. To the letter of the law. I agree. The letter of the law stinks. It's awful. Okay? Here's why. Enforcement is not. Enforcement is not. First of all, I want to say this. That's what. He's on to Monday Night Football. He's become more unhinged, and I love it. I love that Joe Bucket's become more unhinged. I love that too. I think he's completely right, Poison. I think he's completely right with what happened. So first one, Will Anderson hits Mahomes. The third down, Mahomes misses the third attempt. He gets hit. There's a flag blocking the pass. And they said, yeah, but the helmet hit. I understand the helmet hit, but what do you want the defender to do in that situation? You're gonna call if he bends, he doesn't affect the throw. And if he bends and he affects the throw, you're gonna say he landed on Mahomes. So they couldn't do that. And if he stayed the way he was, you were gonna call a penalty on that too. So what was he supposed to do? Just get out of the way? Just get out of the way? What was he supposed to do? To say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to try to get close to you, Mr. Mahomes. No, he's a defender. It's his job. The helmet barely touched the most of the face mask, hit him in the chest. It was just the top of the helmet. And if he does turn his head like that, he would have hit him with the crown, which would have been much more worse for Mahomes, much more worse for Will Anderson. He can't do that. The only thing you would have accepted would have been if he hit Mahomes or he in like the rib, and then you still would have said something. Or you would, no, you have to get out of the way. It's not football. It's not football. It wasn't a penalty. The Monday Night Football analyst said that's not a penalty in my opinion. Troy Aikman said it was not. I understand you want to protect the quarterback, but that was ridiculous. The second one was more ridiculous than the first one. Mahomes is scrambling. He scrambles, he goes forward, so now he's a running back. Okay, he's a running back. That's the point. He's supposed to be a running back. And he plays this game of chicken. I don't know who was in front of him. I think it was Kelsey. Who's trying to block him. And he plays this game of chicken where he's like, I can go left or I can go right. I can go right or I can go whatever. I can do this or I can do that. And he decides to go left. There ends up being two Texans players right there. And he knows he's going to take a shot. He knows that. What does he do? What does he do? He just slides straight down. But he doesn't even slide. He just drops down. It kind of does like, you know when you see a little kid, when you have your family, when you're babies, and they kind of try to sit down, and they don't just sit down, they kind of like squat, and then they just drop completely. That's what Mahomes did. He kind of squatted and dropped. And so that was my slide. Wasn't no. It was just really weird. And ended up two Texans players colliding each other. They did hit Mahomes a little bit, but collided with each other. Majority was. And they threw the flag. Unnecessary roughness. Why? And this is where I come back to. And I said this when I said here, I said it on Monday, I said it on Wednesday. Create a 3-yard box perimeter around the quarterback. If the quarterback flies and the defender is not in that 3-yard box from north, south, east, or west, he's not within 3 yards, and he quarterback slides, that quarterback is protected. Okay? He is protected. Maybe he doesn't even need to be able to do 3 yards, but he is protected if he flies. Within inside those 3 yards, and then hits Mahomes while Mahomes is sliding, we're not calling it. The only way we're going to call it, we're not calling anything. The only way we're going to call something is if Mahomes gets drilled between the eyes and the guy launched at it. He gets drilled right in the eye. That's the only way we're going to call it. Because other than that, it's ridiculous. Why would we throw the flag? He's slid late, which is what Tom Brady has said that quarterbacks now are doing, which is more dangerous. That's what he said about Trevor Lawrence. I guarantee you he thinks the same thing about Mahomes. I guarantee it. Because it's dangerous. And if a quarterback does get hit, the defender's going to get fined and probably like thrown off kinds of death threats and all kinds of other things going on because Mahomes got or Allen got, or Jackson. No other quarterback protected him. So Mahomes was asked that question this week. Does he think the officials favor him compared to other quarterbacks? And he says, no, they're just doing the best they can to protect every. And like, my answer to say to me, a terrible thing though to say because it's not true. It's not true. They do look at it. Because that's like how they gave us Tom Brady. Big Ben never got protected. Big Ben never got. Tom Brady got protected. Peyton Manning got protected. Patrick Mahomes got protected. Drew Brees never got protected. That's the reason. That's simple. And then they have the other one, the one that they didn't throw the flag on, where Mahomes is running, he picked up about 2 yards. He's going at about, and then he stopped running, so like Titans players could hit him, and so he could just flop like in the NBA. He could just flop. And they didn't throw the flag because A, he was in bounds when he got hit, and B, what do you want the defender to throw run out? You can't say those penalties make sense because they're not making sense. They should have said, no, you slid late, that's on you. Or no, he didn't really hit you because it was not forcible contact. The top of his helmet hit. But it was incidental. It was not like he meant to do that. I think the NFL, Players Association, and the NFL competition committee should all go in and say, look, they have so many issues. They got to go in and say, look, this is not fair. We have to do something. And that's why I think my 3-yard box idea could work. Where if you create a 3-yard box, 3 yards this way, 3 yards this way, 3 yards this way, 3 yards that way. You create a box, and if the defender's inside the 3-yard box before the quarterback is sliding, you don't protect the quarterback. The referees can't protect the quarterback unless he gets drilled in between the eyes. And if he's not, we're not doing that because he slid late. We can't protect the thing. I want to say what Tom Brady said before we jump off this topic. We got a lot more to talk about. Very short period of time. He said, it's not on the defender. It's on the player to protect himself. It's not on the assistant to protect the player. I mean, sometimes it is on the assistant to protect the player from himself. But it's not on the defensive player to protect the offense. And I agree. Now, what we do, we wrap up what happened. So on Monday, Ben Johnson goes and takes the job of Chicago. And Caleb Williams now are together. We said the Bears job was the best job. Great offense, and led by great young quarterback, great receivers, good tight end, a decent defense. Maybe they need a little work secondary. Maybe the offensive line needs a little work. Running back's good. Everything else is good. Just need the rest. Ben Johnson can win. That's number one. Number two, the other his former colleague, Aaron Glenn, signed from the New York Jets head football coach. He was drafted by the Jets. When he got into coaching and scouting specifically, he was with the Jets. Okay. Homecoming, essentially, for him. He also was taking interviews from teams that only had him as a player, which I find is hilarious. And I think it's a great idea. The third guy was Liam Cohen. Now, this one's very interesting. Liam Cohen was flirting, essentially, with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He didn't want to go. He ended up saying, you know what, I'll take a $5 million increase to be the offense, to remain the offensive coordinator at the bottom. So he did. For that, Trent Baalke, the general manager of the Jaguars, got fired. Probably because a lot of coaches are saying, I'm not working with Trent Baalke. And Ty Collins saw enough, and out you go. Who's going to be the GM? I have no idea. After that, the day after, yesterday, Liam Cohen said, you know what, I said this was on Wednesday, this all started. You know, I did say I would come back, but maybe I should go back and interview again with the Jacksonville job. So he did. And late last night, the interview wrapped up, and he is now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was official early this morning. Here's the fourth one. Pete Carroll is back in the NFL. The 74-year-old is now going to be the head coach on the Las Vegas Raiders. Brings some stability. He already has a staff. He was actually getting a lot of staff members together. So I thought that was really useful on his part. The Raiders bring stability with the Pete Carroll. They also bring in a staff to go over together. Great job by Pete Carroll. Again, he's going to be 74 this year. He's going to be over coach in NFL history. Now, he doesn't operate like a 73, 74 year old. He does not operate. He's like a kid in the candy store. He is unreal. He's so hyper, he's so energetic. He has all this excitement for a guy who's in his 70s. It's a great choice by the Raiders. So that is 4. We started with 6 early this week. Now we got 2. The Jacksonville job is gone. Now it's the Saints and the Cowboys. I said the Cowboys could potentially been the second best job. I'm contemplating if that is right now. Because, let me check real quick. I'm going to check this very quickly. So I'm not seeing it yet. Let's go. Cowboys interviewed Leslie Frazier on Monday. That was to become compliant with the minority rules, the Rooney Rule. That was to become compliant. They started interviewing Brian Johnson on Tuesday. Brian Johnson on Tuesday. Okay? The son of the late great Marty Scott. They interviewed him for almost 4 hours. To put that in perspective, interviews are not that long. On Wednesday, they decided to interview him again. And they started interviewing him again. They would interview him longer this time. The interview time was supposed to start at 1 and ended about, I think it was about 11, 9 or something like that. It was all over the place. So, it could have been 8 hours, ended up being about 5 hours, 5 to 8 hours. So they interviewed this guy for 9 hours, 9 to 12 hours in that range. And then on Thursday, Jerry Jones Jr. was talking it out to see if they could make Brian Johnson under coaching. Then came the thing that Pete Carroll called Jerry Jones. I don't know if it was to say Brian was a great coach, he should be the coach. I don't know why. I had a conversation, I had conversations. I don't know if that was the coach was just getting his name more out there so he could take the job. I don't know. He did call. He did call there. And according to James last night, it wasn't unanimous that Stephen Jones, this is Stephen Jones' candidate, Brian Schottenheimer, who's been the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, who hasn't called plays in 2020, but has been the Cowboys coordinator for 3 years. Not 2 years, not 2 years. And hasn't called plays. This was his choice. This was Stephen Jones' choice. What was it? No. Was that? And we didn't know this was also Jerry Jones Jr.'s choice. This was Jerry Jr.'s choice as well. The only guy this isn't the choice for is Jerry Jones. So it was not unanimous. It was kind of like if he just wanted to win. Well, no. I'm the father. I have 2 kids. Therefore, my vote counts like Cleveland. That's what's going on. And if you look at Twitter today, I've been looking constantly with John something very little to saying we're trying to see a staff forward to make it look more cute. And it's nonsense. It really is. I don't understand this team. I don't get it. They're wasting time. They on their wheels for 8 days when they could have interviewed Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson. They chose not to. In the end of this week, they could have interviewed Ben Johnson. They chose not to. They could have interviewed Aaron Glenn. They didn't do that. They could have interviewed. They still can interview Todd Monken. They chose not to do that. They could have interviewed Pete Carroll before this. They chose not to. They could have interviewed anybody, they chose not to. Outside of the four guys they actually interviewed, with Sala, Leslie Frazier. Those are the people they've interviewed. And I hate this process awful. To the point I posted on my Twitter, on my ex feed, there's an old scene from Family Guy. Huey is lying on the floor in his pajamas because his bed has been destroyed. And he just says over and over again, I hate it here. I hate it here. I hate it here. That's what I posted. I hate it here. Where we do this every time, and it's like there's no understanding. And the Cowboys may not hire a coach until next week, or a week after, or a week after, or a week after. They haven't interviewed, they didn't interview Pete Carroll. We talk like, oh, well, we might interview Deion Sanders. They haven't done it yet. And if they don't, he'll be in Texas. He's been in Texas, actually. But he'll be in AT&T Stadium tomorrow for the Shrine Bowl. Harry knows he's a marketing company guy. That's how he operates. So therefore, he guarantees you that talk. Won't be necessarily interviews, but the dumbest process ever. No other team operates this way. It's completely bullshit. Completely bullshit. They do this every time. When they hired Mike McCarthy, they did it last time. They said Mike McCarthy was the best. No. They didn't hire Marvin Lewis. So Marvin Lewis is going to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He wanted Hugh Jackson as the offensive coordinator. The Cowboys said Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. They said, no, we want Kellen as the offensive coordinator. We don't want Hugh Jackson as the coach. Marvin said, well, that's the only way I'm going to do it. That's why Marvin Lewis didn't get the job. That's why Mike McCarthy got the job. Because Mike McCarthy said, I'll take Kellen Moore. And then he nudged Kellen out anyway. So he can't have the job and have the glory team. That's what happened. It's that simple. You want a direct answer, that's as direct as it gets. You heard it here. It's not first, it's not second, it's not third, it's not fourth. But you heard it here. This is how it happens. It's frustrating. I don't understand why they do this. And the Saints, I don't know what the Saints are doing. I think the Saints are just waiting to see what happens. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea what they're doing. But it's the most ridiculous thing. I guarantee you Saints fans are like, I hate it here too. I don't understand that. I don't get this. It makes no sense to us. I don't know how to explain. It's so dumb. Now, let's go back. There you go. Let's move on quickly to the great news. Patriots, Jabril Peppers was acquitted in his trial today, so he is released and free to go. But I actually thought, I didn't think anything of it prior to what was going on. I honestly was not paying that close attention. I apologize for that. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. See, this is the title of the Rooney Rule, by the way. Rooney Rule runs its course in the 2025 cycle. It closes flaws because people are not. They're saying, well, we want to hire this guy, but we got to comply with the Rooney Rule. So let's just bring in people who aren't going to be head coach candidates anyway. We'll just bring them in to be satisfied. Moving on to Houston, the Houston Texans. They have parted ways with team president. They parted ways with three people over the course of the last 24 hours. And surprisingly, they have announced that Greg Wilkinson they have parted ways with. Going on and said, we want to thank Greg for his contributions to the organization. He's been with us, been the president since 2021, and all that. So Wilkinson's out as team president. And I said three to the other two. Well, Bobby Slowik, the offensive coordinator, and grab the names also. So Bobby Slowik, who's the offensive coordinator, not really fair to him. They have some offensive line issues. That's problematic. They also fired their offensive line coach this time. They should find his name, Chris Foster. Foster, I understand. The offensive line is bad. They had so many injuries. I don't know what it is. So that's kind of that look. So Slowik's out. Clemson's out as president. Slowik's out as OC. And Josh was out as offensive line. That's covered. let's get into the games of this week. We have two games. Let's start with the first game, Commanders Eagles. Now, it is still at -6 for the Eagles. The over-under is 47.5. Last time these two teams played, Washington won an amazing fashion. I think they will continue to win and win to the Super Bowl that they have not been to since 1991. I think the thing that concerns me about the Eagles is if Jalen Hurts can't run, Jalen Hurts back at practice, King Jordan's back, he's back, and he was there, Tyler Goddard is there, he has an ankle injury, he was okay. It was a walkthrough, so who knows exactly how perfect it is. But yeah, given the Commanders, they win this game because if Jalen can't run in a straight lateral way, we'll see what happens when he keeps that. Given the Commanders, they win in a big game, 34-31. And the game, probably game of the night, game of the year, game of everything, Bills at 2. Chiefs favored by 2. 48.5 is the over-under. No killer app. That's the pressure that the Texans put on Mahomes concerns me about this offensive block. The defense has AJ Epinesa, Ed Oliver, Von Miller going right there, Merlin Street, and sitting Mahomes. That's terrifying to think of. It's going to be loud. It's going to be exciting. I wonder what Spagnuolo's going to do to try to stop Josh Allen in this ground game. Give me the Bills. I'm taking the Bills. They will end this repeat once and for all. Bills win in stunning fashion. 28-24. Let me know in the comments who you have winning this week. Also, are you surprised by any of the coaches that got head coaching jobs? And who did you think deserved the head coaching job? Yeah. Welcome our world and the Well Played Podcast. I'm Jacob Cooper, and we will see you after championship game this Sunday.